It's Matchday 33, picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick 'em for a chance to win 100x in NBA, MLB, NHL, golf, and more. Sign up today. Use the promo code PLGP to get a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by the premier arbitrage sports betting tool, Evo. Use their tool to bet both sides and lock in a profit. Access their platform for free at arbsversusodds.com. That's ARBSVSODDS.com. arbsversusodds.com. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, April the 11th, and we are here to have a look over a fun midweek, of Champions League games. Europa League in action as we speak, so we can have a little live sweat there. And then we've got a full slate of Premier League action, match day 33, as we head down the stretch at a rapid pace. Joining me, looks very serious tonight, very serious, is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Baz, how you doing?
I'm paying no attention to you. I'm too busy looking at betting markets and things like that. That's why I'm looking serious, focused.
That's a great betting day today, isn't it? I'm multitasking right now with the Europa League, the golf I've put on the telly, because I've got a couple of bets on. I'll put the stupid super boost on Rory to finish in the top 20 in the first round, which I looked at it and I thought, that's shit. And then I did it anyway, because I'm a cretin. Oh, you never know, you might still. He's just had a birdie there. And then I've got the baseball running as well. And I had an entry on this afternoon.
Because I missed it. I was going to take it this morning, the Rory bet, and I haven't done so. So I hope he finishes out of the top 20.
Well, it was late. It was delayed 2.5 hours, Baz. And one of the most annoying things about the golf, and this has happened a lot lately. I listen to the Golf Gambling Podcast here on the network. It's brilliant. But when the first round doesn't finish on the first day, it's very frustrating, Barry, because it knackers up all your DraftKings lineups. It knackers up. If I won't get paid out on Rory now until whenever that finishes, probably this time tomorrow or like 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon or something. So it ties up money, it buggers everything up, so it is not ideal at all. But yeah, entry was on this afternoon as well, so I've been like quadruple parking, Baz, on the old bets today. I think we're going to give some Grand National picks later on as well. I have been in touch with the Lord, Barry. You'll be pleased to hear. So I didn't have to do any of the heavy lifting. The Lord is giving us a forecast. not content. He sent me the message, and then I think he realised himself afterwards. He went, "Fucking hell, there's not many tipsters giving out a forecast on the Grand National." So he even amused himself with that. But the chat is live and kicking. Callum was first in. One of the backers is. We'll claim it's Courtney for the moment. How you doing? Harry, Chelsea. I don't know what Chelsea were doing last Sunday, Harry. What a stupid football team Chelsea are at the moment. That's my first note. In 3 pages' time, the first thing I've written down next to Chelsea is they're really stupid, which isn't very scientific or analytical, Barry. But what a stupid football team Chelsea are. But with their game 10 on the list, so you'll have to hang around all night, Harry, if you want a handicap on Harry. Both backers are in touch. But, Baz, what a great midweek of Champions League football. I landed in front. Did it the hard way again. Why do I have to keep coming from behind, Baz? This is a horrible habit. Because I blobbed both games on Tuesday, and therefore I'm starting to feel the pressure. As it happens, I hit both games yesterday. Barcelona at 11-4 being a great pick. But I can't keep having to come from behind, putting myself behind the 8 ball. My 5th pick was the Europa League. I've just seen a goal, actually. A moneyline parlay between Leverkusen and Liverpool. Liverpool have just gone 1 down. So we'll have to see what goes on there. But yeah, finished ahead 2 out of 4. But Barry, I do believe you swept in the Champions League.
Yeah, I need to just give me 1 second because I need to take some actions on that Liverpool goal there, the Atalanta goal. I'll tell you why in a minute. But yeah, the Champions League absolutely smashed it. 4 out of 4. Took Bayern double chance. Took Man City to score 2 or more and 3 or more. 7-2 for City to score 3 or more. And then last night, it was Atletico straightforward. Barcelona, I was a bit more cautious. Took the draw on my side, and I was happy with that. When they went 1-0 up and then 2-1 down, I thought, at least I've still got the draw to come. As it happens, they did win. So your bolder pick was better than mine. But 4 out of 4, 14-1 Acker if you took the 4 of them. And a few people did. A few people getting in touch saying they took everything. Yeah. There was even someone who had the 4 of them, along with my Monday night Serie A pick, which was absolute gold, by the way. If you're not tuning into the YouTube shorts for the random stuff, you're missing out. Udinese had gone 7 games in a row where they had not... Sorry, Inter Milan had gone 7 games in a row where they had not given up more than 3 shots on target. So Udinese, under 3.5 shots on target, was around evens. They finished up with 1 shot on target. Just 1. They only had 3 shots on goal the whole game, so you could have laddered that down into the basement as well. But enough about that. Champions League was brilliant. My other EFL banker was Stockport. That came in at 4-5. The only thing that didn't hit was my longer shot in the EFL, which was Coventry to score 2 or more. They got beat 2-1, missed a penalty. So,
bad.
Just got away from hitting absolutely everything. But otherwise, a really, really good week. The reason I was so interested in that Atalanta goal is I started using Sky Bet, Malcolm. Yeah. And I started using Sky Bet for the Acker freeze.
Okay.
You put an Acker on with 5 teams or more in, you can freeze a game at any point. So if a team goes up, you can freeze the result and you've got it banked. So like yesterday against Barcelona PSG was one of my 5. Freeze Barcelona. As soon as they go 1-0 up in 10 minutes, you lock it in. That's it. Doesn't matter what that score is. They can draw, lose. That game is a winner for you in your betting slip. As it happens, Ipswich let me down for me 5-4. 20-1 5-4. Ipswich let me down. But it's a good way of putting 4 in that you really like and then taking 1 underdog and just hoping to get that first goal. So tonight, I've got an Acker on, which has Atalanta in it at 7-1. I've just froze that, Malcolm. That's a winner. A 7-1 winner is the first leg of my 5-4 Acker. Doesn't matter what Liverpool do now. Atalanta is a winner in my Sky Bet Acker.
I had one of those little things happen to me this week, Baz, where it feels like it's the start of a story. It's like the start of one of Sean and Ryan's Real Men of DGen stories, because I had 2 little £5 free bets on Sky Bet, bet builders. So on Tuesday night, I put them on. I put 1 on each game. But obviously, I was miles away on Tuesday night. And literally, everything I put in, both legs missed. You know, when you come up and it gives you, it's red or green. And I had I had shots on target, corners, fouls, yellows, red. One of them involved Kevin De Bruyne, and he wasn't playing. So I got my money back. The second game, the Munich game, shots, fouls, corners, red, missed everything. But the Munich goalkeeper didn't play for some reason. I think I had goalie saves. So I got my money back on both of them, having missed literally 100% of the things I put in. Put them both on Wednesday, and of course I did great, didn't I? Hit. So I won 55 quid off both of them. So I won 110 quid, having got the 2 bets refunded the night before. So that's my Masters bets. So now I'm going to turn 2 absolute stone cold losers into about 500 quid on the Masters. So yeah, that's the start of a good gambling tale, that one, Baz. I went out last night. I showed there was a couple of photos flying around. I went round a few of the fancy bars, but like bars that I sort of didn't know were there anymore. Or like the main one being the Big Market toilets. Did you know that was a bar, Barry? The toilets at the Big Market.
Like that for years, man.
Has it? Well, it just shows how often I go out. We were in that burger place next door to it. And I just happened to notice, I was like, why is there fairy lights hanging off the ceiling of the toilets? Someone said, well, it's a bar, you idiot. So we went in there. So, Baz, I mean, I had about 4 pints. I had a lovely Caipirinha, Baz, in the new Margaritas bar down on Pilgrim Street.
It's one of my favourites.
Oh, mate, this was incredible. Absolutely stunning. that was in the toilets, and I had a caipirinha. I had a margarita in the margaritas bar. We went in the Grey Owl. I had some rum and gingers in there, as well as a few pints of cider and a pint of lager. I ate those, but it was good fun. Lots of people, 2 people that I trained in the casino with, that I used to live with. We came and joined you in the casino, Barry, and had many nights out with Craig and Kelly. So they wanted us to say hello. So yeah, that was fun and games. And remarkably, Baz, I'm all right today. I've slept quite a lot of the day. I slept at lunchtime, watched the racing, and then I've just bashed out another 2.5 hours between 5:30 and 8. So I've had a canny sleep, I'll be honest with you. But I'm double parking tonight. I've got the this show and then the MLB show straight after. So yeah, plenty going on, Baz, but not too bad in terms of the hangovers. Anything else you want to tell the people lifestyle-wise, or do you want to get into these games?
No, I think we just get straight into it, don't we?
Okay, let's do that. We'll do first is talk about, let's have a look, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, you had an Underdog Fantasy winning pick the other night. You gave out 3 players. De Bruyne didn't play, but it's still cashed. I gave out 3 on the Wednesday and hit 2 out of my 3. But really fun little lineups, a little game to play. The easiest place and the fastest growing app in the industry is Underdog Fantasy. Just pick higher or lower on any players and the props that you like, and you can win up to 100 times your money. Pick between 2 and 5 players, and you're in business. Sign up today with our promo code PLGP and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant pick'em special. Visit underdogfantasy.com, find them in the App Store, and don't forget to register with our promo code PLGP to get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant pick'em special. Must be 18 or over, present to stay where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerning your play, call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Right, I'm going to have to change my page here then, Baz. Hang on, because I'm on the in-play page. Soccer, competitions, Premier League. We will start on Saturday lunchtime, 12:30, 7:30 Eastern Time. Newcastle United taking on Tottenham Hotspur. Game I shall be at. Tottenham, Newcastle 17-10 plus 170. The draw 3-1. And Tottenham are 13-10 plus 130. I find it quite remarkable, Baz, that Newcastle have won 4 out of the last 8 games, because they look really vulnerable. But I did say that it's probably worth just taking the handbrake off and just going to see if you can outscore teams, because we do look so vulnerable. And really, it's our 3 best players who have kept us in games. Gordon, Isak and Bruno are all playing really, really well. And when you've got top quality players, world-class players, they will keep you in a game and give you a chance, as long as some of the rest aren't completely and utterly terrible. They won 1-0 at Fulham last week. I've no idea how we won, and I've also no idea how it was a 1-0. Both of those things were a bit baffling because we got battered in the first half. Before that, at home, again, Newcastle's home form, we keep saying, lost plenty of their home games. The 4-3 against West Ham was a wild one. And we've had the 4-4 v Luton. We've had the 2-2 v Bournemouth. All comparison games in the last 8 there. They got hammered at Chelsea, even though it finished 3-2. Have been good at home. 10 of their 16 wins have come at St James's Park. Tottenham still fighting for 4th place. They're in a bit of a head-to-head with Aston Villa. And Tottenham have won 5 of their last 8 as well. Similar kind of issues to Newcastle, really. Their away form's letting them down. They've had a 1-1 at West Ham. They had a weird 3-0 defeat at Fulham, which is hard to equate to anything on the last. So that's the last 2 road games. But this does look like another shootout, Baz. Again, all 3 outcomes are very much on the table here. But I just think Newcastle have got a defeat coming, Baz. Bournemouth, Luton, West Ham. We could have lost all 3 or any of them in isolation. So for Newcastle to come out on the wrong side of one won't be a surprise. Tottenham are a good side as well. They're better than those other 3 teams I mentioned. Tottenham are 13-10 plus 130 for me, Baz.
Yeah, I came into it. My initial thoughts before I looked at the prices was that I was expecting to take Spurs. I thought they would be the value price here, but I didn't expect them to be favourites in the game. I thought the two teams would be about level in the markets, with Newcastle being at home. And that's why I went away from Spurs, really, because the same as you, I don't have any great confidence in Newcastle coming into it. But it is a home game. We're better at home. And as you say, the form, it feels in your head, you sort of got this thing that's been an absolute disaster lately, but we've lost 2 of the last 10. At home, the Forest game was a stinking defeat. Man City 3-2 was, you take that one. But beyond that, those are the only 2 games we've lost in a long time at home this season. So I did think I'd come in possibly backing Spurs, and if the prices had been the other way around and I'd had 17-10 Spurs, 13-10 Newcastle, maybe I would have gone the same way, but not for me. It's hard to back Newcastle. I took them against Fulham. I took them against West Ham, but it was hard work in both of those games. Scraped wins versus those 2, the draw against Everton. And I think that's about what we can expect for the rest of the season. The fixtures are kind to Newcastle. We've got a good run in. And we'll continue to pick up points, and we'll continue to keep the pressure on the teams above. But this one is just a little bit trickier than those ones we've just mentioned, where we did make hard work of it. So it is hard to make a case for Newcastle winning the game. I decided not to take Tottenham to win it, because we're unbeaten in 5 home games now. Spurs don't travel that well either. They've just 1 win in the last 6 away games. That was the other thing that put me off Spurs in the end. They lost at Brighton, lost at Fulham, drew away to Everton, Man United, West Ham. So not the biggest of teams away from home, but they're not getting the results. So again, for me, at 13-10, it was just a little bit too short. Goals is what jumps out for me. The last 6 head-to-heads between these teams have gone over 2.5, and 5 of the last 6 have went over 3.5. We've had 4-1s, 5-1s, 6-1s, 3-2s. We've had everything. What I was wanting to do, again, because I did lean a little bit towards Spurs, was thinking I would get a price for Spurs to score 2 or more here. But at 4-6, again, just a little bit too short. So I've pivoted to the over 3.5 goals market for me. Over 3.5 goals, Newcastle Spurs is 10-11. That's where I've gone for my pick here.
Just a little aside here, Baz. I don't know if you can hear any background row here. The IT department's got a new toy, Barry, and has been upstairs in the bedroom playing with it for about 6 hours.
Is this safe for podcast, is it?
Sorry?
Is this story safe for the podcast, is it?
Well, the IT department's been in the bedroom for 6 hours with a new toy. It's for stripping the wallpaper, Baz. Steamy thing for strip. She tried for about an hour with like a butter knife or something, got about 2 square inches off. Lost her temper, went to the shop, came back with this big box, which is down here now, a Titan something or other, wallpaper stripper. And now, honestly, she's stripped about 4 square miles in the last 2 hours. Like, she's stripping stuff that didn't need stripping. She's done 3 houses in both directions. She's absolutely beside herself. I've never seen her this happy. I couldn't have got anything from Anne Summers that would have put a bigger smile on her face than the wallpaper stripper. So if you hear any racket coming from directly above me, it's the sound of orgasmic wallpaper stripping going on. Peter Harrison joined us. Peter, hey, how you doing? Nice to have you. If you give us any picks that you like, Peter, shout them up in the chat. We're all for a good bet. Next up on Saturday is 3:00 and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Brentford against Sheffield United. Brentford are 11-25, -227. The draw is 4-1. Sheffield United are 6-1, Barry.
Yeah, Brentford with no win in 9 now, and only 1 clean sheet in those 9 games. So I just think it's very hard to get stuck into them on that form at a price here of 2-5. 3 draws in a row. 4 of the last 6 have been draws. They just can't get a win. And Sheffield United have had a little bit of a upturn in form. I mean, it's not much of an upturn in form, but it's 3 points from the last 4 games, 3 draws in 4. And it's those draws recently against Fulham, Bournemouth and Chelsea that just had me thinking Sheffield United can get something here, and that they represent better value than Brentford do at the prices. It's the fact that Brentford at home used to be a thing Brentford used to be really good at home. They used to make it really difficult for teams. Not anymore. They've won just one of the last 8 at home. So the home fixture for Brentford doesn't change things for me here. And I think 6-1 Sheffield United is just about big enough. But let's be honest, Sheffield United don't win many games. So I think you're better off having the draw on your side. A little bit of a cop-out. But it's still a good price. Sheffield United double chance is 7-4. So Brentford aren't winning games. And Sheffield United are, in recent weeks, a bit more of a tougher team. They're making it a little bit more difficult. They're not just rolling over for anyone. So the pick for me here, Brentford v Sheffield United, is Sheffield United on the double chance market to win or draw 7-4.
I did exactly the same thing, Baz, trying to factor in Sheffield United for all the reasons you state. Brentford sort of have impressed me in how they've played. And then you drag the stats up and you think, well, where's all the green for the wins? Well, and it's not there because they played well at Arsenal, lost. They battered Man United, only got a draw. The game that they should have won away at Burnley, the red card knackered them. They had a really good comeback at Villa last week. Were 2-0 down, got 3-2 ahead. Still couldn't win. So mildly impressive in spells, but not winning. Like you say, Sheffield United competed against Chelsea last weekend. They competed for a long time against Liverpool. They made that game last midweek awkward. So the data just doesn't back up taking Brentford. We've never taken a 2-5 anyway, but it certainly doesn't back up taking them on the handicap for a 2-goal win. So this is really short, Barry. I wanted to factor Sheffield United in. It's short, but I love it. I absolutely adore this. It's Sheffield United on the handicap plus 1.5. 8-11, Baz, minus 136. So it's right towards the stinky end. Could even use it as a accumulator piece as you want. But Sheffield United plus 1.5 goals at 8-11 is a great looking bet for me. Next up, continue the 3 o'clocks. Burnley take on Brighton. Burnley 12-5 plus 240. Draw 14-5 plus 280. Brighton are even money. Burnley being the best team in the last 6 games, according to old Vincent Company. Lee's not here tonight to confirm or deny whether that's happened, but 6 weeks running, Burnley being the better team, so that's good. They've won 1, lost 1, and drawn 4 of those, so they're not getting beat. I mean, you could say they've lost 1 in 6. Sounds all right, doesn't it? You could also say they've won 1 in 6, which isn't quite as glamorous. They've had 2 unders in a row. Brighton lost 3-0 to Arsenal last week, and they have had 1 win in 6. And they just don't win away, 4 of 16 away from home. So I don't think you can take them at even money at all here. They've only scored twice in the last 5 games as well, Brighton. I really don't know what's happened. That's kind of got under the radar because they were the nuts goals galore team early in the season. Drew with Everton, lost to Fulham, 0-0 with Brentford. So you just can't back them at all. I'm going for it, Baz. 4 draws and 1 win. They can turn this into another win. Vincent Company, we trust, Barry. Burnley, 12-5 plus 240.
Well, we can still both win this one. I noted down the exact same things as you. Burnley streak is over. 4 games unbeaten came to an end after the defeat to Everton. And I've wrote down the same. Vincent Company claims they've been the better side in the last 7 games now. So yeah, the results don't suggest that. But anyway, he won't be in the dugout this week. He's banned for having a moan about the ref in one of the games recently. It seems some managers can get away with it, but if you're down the bottom end of the table, you don't get away with it. Gary O'Neill charged this week. Company banned this week. Those at the top just seem to say what they want. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, whether Company being out of the dugout makes any difference, I don't know. I didn't really look a huge amount into this one. I looked at Brighton's form first, and they're not in great form. No winning 5 away games. 6 defeats in the last 8 away games. But there was something that just jumped off the page to me, and it was both teams to score no. It's hitting 7 of the last 8 games for Brighton. It's hitting 4 of the last 8 for Burnley. Burnley have just come off a 1-0 defeat, so it would have hit there. And it's plus money. 7 of the last 8 Brighton games have gone both to score no. 11-8. Just looks good on the form. It's plus money, and the form for it looks solid on both sides of it. So the pick for me, Burnley v Brighton, is both teams to score no at 11-8, plus 137.
Yeah. Brave, Baz, but the data is absolutely there. We move on. I'll tell you about Avo, our new partner. I'm very proud to have them along with us. We are too. Avo is the premier sports betting arbitrage tool. If you're new to arbitrage sports betting, it's dead simple. You're just taking both sides of a bet on two different sports books to lock in a profit. It's great for things like tennis, where there's only two outcomes, where there's no draw like there is in the football. The Avo tool scans the sports books, looking for discrepancies in the odds, and tells you how much you need to place with each sports book and what your expected profit will be. It's dead easy to use, lightning fast. Speed is a huge part of arbitrage sports betting. You need to get on when the lines are there before the shooties snap them up. The best part is that Avo is currently free to use without restrictions. That's right, completely free. Get started today at arbsversusodds.com. That is arbsversusodds.com. arbsversusodds.com. Next up, we continue at 3 o'clock with Manchester City taking on Luton Town. Man City are 1-10, minus 1,000. Draw is 10-1. Luton Town are 18-1. And this is you, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, City will win this. It's a home fixture. Should be fairly straightforward. They beat Luton 6-2 last time out in the Cup, not all that long ago. But again, it's another fairly brief one for me. Because the one thing we always say about Luton is that the staying games, they don't get battered like we've seen Sheffield United do over and over. They did lose 4-1 to Liverpool a few weeks ago. That was the first time since August last year that they'd lost a game by 3 or more goals. They just don't get hammered. And City don't have particularly good form this season for battering teams either. They beat Villa 4-1 just a few weeks ago. But that was the first time they'd won by a 3-goal margin since November. City don't keep many clean sheets either. And the other thing we've said about Luton is they always score. They did get shut out once recently, but that's once in about the last 20 games where they failed to score. So I think at 1-10, it's really hard to then find a play for City, even if you think they're going to win this one at home. Will they win by 3 or 4? And if they concede one, then I'm just not so sure. And the form doesn't support it either. City won the reverse fixture, but they only won it 2-1. So Luton have kept them close before. I think the handicap for Luton, it just looks big enough. Luton on the handicap, getting 2.5 goals is even money. And I just feel like I'd rather be on Luton plus 2.5 than I would or be on City minus 2.5 at odds on. So my pick here, Man City v Luton, is Luton plus 2.5 on the handicap at even money.
Yeah, I like that, Baz. They were all the angles I was trying to find. That's the pick I took for Sheffield United last week at Liverpool plus 2.5. Game that finished 3-1, similar prices. This, Barry, is episode 171 of our show, and I might have made this might be the worst pick that anyone's made at 100. This is it. I'm not gonna make eye contact with the laptop while I make this pick. It's absolutely horrendous. It's embarrassing, and I'm not proud. So City, a little look ahead spot to the second leg as well. There's no 2-week break here for these Champions League games. So this Luton game is sandwiched in between the two games. So I just thought they might ease off a little bit, either at the start or after an hour or so if they get it won. Plenty low scoring games before the last 2 4-goal performances, Manchester City. We were into that angle a little bit. Luton's still fighting. They got the win against Bournemouth, come from behind. As it's hard to handicap a 1-10 shot. But with the look ahead spot and how Luton scrap, it's another shorty, Baz. The bet is going to be under 4 goals at 8-11, minus 136. So we get a push at 4. I just can't see this going mad. Man City might. We saw Arsenal hold Luton off 2-0 last midweek. Could be that sort of game. Sort of hold them at arm's length and just get in front and knock the ball around because they've got that game coming up in the week. If Luton do get one, then the bet's still live anyway. So, yeah, it's not big or clever, and I'm not impressing anyone. But I'll take under 4 goals at 8 to 11, minus 136. That might be the parlay with the Sheffield United handicap pick. 3 o'clocks continue. Nottingham Forest taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Forest 15 to 13, plus 115. The draw is 12 to 5, plus 240. And Wolves are 5 to 2, plus 250. Forest level on points with Luton. Down at the bottom, just out of the relegation zone on goal difference. Only 1 win in 7. They played okay Tottenham last week. Got level with Chris Wood. Chris Wood missed an unbelievable chance to put them in front from about 2 yards out. He kicked it really hard off the post, and then went on to get beat. They've only won 5 of their 16 home games. I think the price is too short on Forest. I can't take Forest to win. Wolves are doing my head in a little bit because every time I trust them, they never win. No win in 3. 1-1 in their last away game, which was at Burnley. Just looks like a draw, Baz. I think I said when going back to last October, November, that there was 3 or 4 teams: Forest, Wolves, Palace were one of them, and I can't remember. It might have been Brentford. Whenever these teams play each other, it's just going to be a 1-1 draw, and that's exactly the situation here. So I'm going to take the draw, Baz, which is 12 to 5. Plus 240. And it's also, Baz, the 1-1 draw of the week.
It's Malcolm's 1-1 draw of the week. Both teams scored a goal.
There you go, 1-1, Barry. That price is 6 to 1.
Yeah, I could have called that. If I was going to call where the 1-1 would draw would be this week, that would have been the one. It was a hard one, this one, because I've been out on Forest for a while, and with good reason. They don't win many games. But Wolves just stuttering a bit lately in recent weeks. Talked about Neto being out, Hwang Hee-chan. They're just struggling a bit up the top end. And it made this one a bit more of a dilemma, because Forest had a poor one last week against Spurs, but prior to that, they had picked up 5 points from their previous 3 games, so looked to have turned a little bit of a corner. Then you look at Wolves, no win in 4. Finding goals hard to come by, just 4 goals in the last 5 league games. So the goals markets didn't bother me here. The last 8 games for Wolves, 4 went over, 4 went under. And for Forest, it was 5 over. And no, 5 went under and 3 went over. So there was nothing in either side of them that really pushed me towards any of the goals market. I struggled, like you, to make a strong case for either side here. It was one where I thought if I could have had the underdog with the draw on my side at around evens, I'd have taken the double chance. But Wolves' double chance here is around 4 to 6. Again, that's just a little bit too short. I would have liked that just to have two outcomes on my side, but a little bit too short. So, like you, if you can't pick a winner, take the draw. They did return a draw in the previous one. I'm sure it was the 1-1 of the week that time.
Yeah, it
so
was.
Same pick as you. Forest v Wolves. I'll take the draw at 12 to 5.
Okay, next game up is at tea time on Saturday. It's the 5:30 kickoff. Bournemouth taking on Manchester United. Bournemouth 11 to 8, plus 137. The draw 14 to 5, plus 280. Manchester United 17 to 10, plus 170. This is the game, Barry, where I predict that you have got the same pick as me. The prediction of the week. We need a jingle for that as well. You've made the same pick as me here, so you make yours, and then I'll confirm what you've said.
My notes start off with, I know where you go here.
All right, so you know what I'm picking.
I know what you're picking, and you.
Yeah, okay.
I know what you think I'm going to pick, but I'm not going to pick it in the interests of being different, but also because I found a reason not to pick it.
All right.
So less of the cryptic stuff. Let's tell you what it is that
Cryptic.
Malcolm's. I'll tell you what Malcolm's going to pick before I tell you what I'm going to pick. You've got to keep riding the Man United shots conceded, don't you, Malcolm? Bookies are possibly onto it a bit more this week. The line's set at 16.5. So for anyone that hasn't been watching any football, in recent weeks, Man United have developed a habit for conceding tons of shots on goal. Not shots on target, just shots on goal. Recent numbers, 28 for Liverpool, 28 for Chelsea. Brentford had 31, Liverpool 25, Everton 23, 27, 16, 17, 22, 23, 22. Every week they give up 20 shots. Last week they were giving you evens for Liverpool to have 20. It was an absolute gift. But they have moved the line this week. It's around 16 and a half. And obviously this is Bournemouth, not Liverpool. But they've given up 17 shots in 9 straight league games, I think. And that's included teams like Brentford, Luton, Everton, West Ham, who've all managed to get these 17 shots. So Malcolm will tell you over 16 and a half shots is the pick, and I'm not going to talk you out of it. But I talked myself out of it because Bournemouth have struggled to get many shots in recent games. 4 of their last 6, they've had less than 12. They've had a couple where they haven't even got into double figures. Now, I'm not saying they won't hit it, but I think a better angle could be the corners. And I know Patrick and the Bacchus family will love this one because he's been pushing the corners angle.
Yes.
It's the same thing for the same reason, as well as conceding tons of shots. Man United are giving up tons of corners every week. 9 straight games now, Man United have given up at least 8 corners. Brentford, Villa, City, Chelsea, Liverpool all got to double figures. The average corners conceded all season, over the season for Man United, is 7. Bournemouth's form for winning corners is good. They average 7 per game over the season. And they've had some big numbers recently. They've hit double figures often. And they've gone over 6.5 corners themselves in 15 of the last 20. So lots of form for them hitting at least 7, which is what they would need on the team total. That's where I was leaning to start with. It was over 6.5 Bournemouth team total. As I say, Man United, 9 straight games, they would have failed to cover that one. But I think if Bournemouth get to 7, which is where the line is, then it doesn't leave much for Man United to do to get us in on the match total. And that still leaves us a chance if Bournemouth don't hit their line and Man United get more than they usually do. So I actually pivoted to match corners here rather than the Bournemouth team total. I've gone to over 11.5 match corners at 4-5. Man United games have had 12 or more corners in 10 of the last 11 games. And you're getting close to even money for them to do it again. 10 of the last 11. And we're getting 4-5 for it to happen. So I'm not doing an all-out ladder here. We might have one of them a bit later. But the pick is over 11.5 at 4-5. And I'm going to take a big, big step up and take a punt on the over 16.5 corners at 7-1 as a bit of a long shot. 5 of the last 10 Man United games have saw at least 17 corners. Half of the last 10 games, 17 corners. 7-1 looks a good bit of value for me. So 2 picks, over 11.5 corners at 4-5 and over 16.5 corners at 7-1.
Okay, and turns out, Baz, I didn't know what you were going to pick, and you didn't know what I was going to pick, so that was a complete load of bollocks, unfortunately. The first thing, when I looked at this game, I just laughed at the prices. Man United 17-10 underdogs away at Bournemouth. I thought it was just funny. Did you see the AI Champions League winners from this week, Baz? That the super duper computer predicted the next 100 years of Champions League winners.
Yeah.
So Man United win it next year, which is a bad start because they're not even going to be in it. But then in Newcastle won it, was it 2037 and 2084, I think. Wolves winning it in the 2042 was an odd one. And Forest get a couple of wins in there as well.
Arsenal didn't win it at all, did they?
Did they not?
Arsenal fans won't have been happy with it. They never win it. In the next 50 years, Arsenal don't win the Champions League. But Newcastle, Wolves, Celtic, everybody else had one. Forest got one.
Yeah. We haven't talked about those penalty incidents either at Arsenal. So the prices made me laugh for a start. Bournemouth won 4 out of the last 6 and had won 3 home games in a row because they had the rearranged game with Luton thrown in there. Hence, they had 3 home games on the spin and won all of them. Man United somehow got a 2-2 last week against Liverpool. In a game we knew that they'd lift their levels because they did it twice previously this season. They've done it in the FA Cup, knocked them out. They've done it in the league and got a 0-0 draw. Only 1 win in 6. But Baz, this is Bournemouth against Manchester United, and Man United are the underdogs, man. You've got to take Man United, and they will be shit, and they will be lucky, and they will win. Like every other game that they've won this season, I don't know how they've got all those points. Like someone's got them. I don't remember them winning that many points this year. It's ridiculous. And this is the sort of game they'll do it. You've got. I'm stunned you didn't take Man United here at the prices, Baz. I got no further than looking at the prices, giggled, and then thought you've got to take Man U. Absolutely, Man U to turn Bournemouth over. 17 to 10, plus 170. And I'll be delighted to lose. Absolutely over the moon to do me money on this one. There you go.
Did we not see exactly the same thing a couple of weeks ago when they played Brentford, though? I'm fairly sure we did. And they didn't win that one. I just think...
Well, they did take the lead in the 98th minute.
They didn't win it. They didn't deserve to win it. They were garbage. That's the problem is you can get a bit clouded by that Liverpool performance.
That night, if you remember rightly. I took the draw that night because I was incredibly furious. I was in the pub and I got the score alert. So not only it didn't knacker me bet up, but it was Man United winning the 98th minute. So I was foaming. And then obviously they equalised later on. So no, I'm all right with that. I think they'll win that one. Mafia, James is in. How you doing? He's walking home from work in, I want to say, Toronto, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Ottawa, Nova Scotia, somewhere up there. James, I was listening to you that day. We had 5 pints of cider before the match. Right, next game is, are we on to Sunday now? Or are we on, is there a game Saturday night? No, Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. Liverpool take on Crystal Palace. Liverpool are 1-5, minus 500. The draw is 6-1. Crystal Palace are 11-1. This is me, innit? So Liverpool dropped 2 points last week against Manchester United. But back at home, where they've won 13 of their 16 league games. They're in action tonight. Still 1-0 down, I believe, against Atalanta. Yes, they are. West Ham still 0-0 with Leverkusen, so my pick's going tits up. Crystal Palace are just incredibly boring, Barry, in terms of a team, in terms of everything they do all season, in terms of trying to handicap them. They're just dull as ditch water, aren't they? They take the odd point against teams around them, and they win at home against the shit teams. And that is what Crystal Palace will do. That's what they'll continue to do. I'm not interested in trying to find a shock angle. And if I see a 12-1 shot, I'll very often start there and think, right, how can we make a case for this? But I can't for Palace. They won't even try to win. So I just looked at Liverpool's recent home games are all very similar comps, Baz. Sheffield United won 3-1. Brighton won 2-1. Luton won 4-1. Burnley won 3-1. The clues are there, Baz. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to work this out. Liverpool to win and both teams to score. Cashed in all of them. It's 8-5 here, plus 160. They'll win 2-1, 3-1 or 4-1. So yeah, Liverpool to win, both teams to score. 8-5, plus 160.
Yeah, similar pick, obviously. Similar reasons. Usual angles in the Liverpool home games. You look at handicaps, you look at team totals, or I do generally. But I did go elsewhere. I think Liverpool will. I've wrote down. I think Liverpool will be firing again after Man United last week, but they've just gone 2-0 down against Atalanta. As I say that, there is a video referee in progress, so it could get ruled out yet. But at the moment, Bet365 is showing they are 2-0 down. So maybe they won't be firing. They have brought on the big guns off the bench. Salah is on. Yeah. So anyway, the
goal stands, Baz. Goal stands.
2-0. Yeah. Sorry, I was just completely distracted by that, as you can tell. I think I don't see Palace going and causing an upset here. Not at Anfield, but they should have done in the return fixture. Well, 1-0 up, dodgy red card, ended up losing 2-1. Liverpool at home are a different beast. But it's just another one here where I didn't want the handicap for Liverpool because they have had some close ones recently. The Man United and Man City draws, fair enough. sort of bigger opposition than Palace. But then just single goal wins against Forest and Brighton. They did beat Luton and Brentford by 3 goals, but they had to score 4 to do that, and that's because, Malcolm, they always concede. Not always. They've got 1 clean sheet in the last 10. But like you, I spotted the both teams to score 9 straight games, and it looked an obvious pick to me. So I haven't bothered tagging on Liverpool to win. I've just took the 10 to 11 for both teams to score, which I thought was a very fair price. And I can still sit there and cheer on Palace with my bet.
Yeah.
You can't. So yeah, the pick for me, Liverpool v Palace, is both teams to score 10 to 11.
Okay. Next on Sunday, what time is this one? Another 2 o'clock kickoff. West Ham currently in action against Leverkusen, putting the shift in 0-0. In Germany, West Ham take on Fulham. West Ham are 13 to 10, plus 130, draw 13 to 5, plus 260. Fulham 19 to 10, plus 190. Baz, close this one.
I didn't look much, to be honest, because I've got Fulham on my radar for my corners, haven't I, Malcolm? So I didn't look at any other markets. I went straight into the corners market, and I liked what I saw, and I wrote it all down, and I started climbing. Fulham corners, team total, they've just hit 14, 8, and 15 in the last 3 games. If you want to add that up, that's 37 in 3 games. They do have some smaller totals at times recently, but over the season, they average 6 per game. They've hit double figures this season on 10 occasions. Double figures on 6 occasions this season. Someone on TikTok the other day, when I was talking about this, mentioned it could be down to the smaller pitch at Craven Cottage. It's one of the smaller grounds, smaller pitches in the Premier League. A lot of people think football pitches are all the same size, but they're not. But actually, when you look at it, the higher totals come away from home just as much as they do at home. And when I looked at the away form recently, for that reason, just to see whether it was a home thing, 4 of their last 5 games have seen Fulham get 8 or more corners. So plenty of form for it. 6 or more Fulham corners is where you've got to get over 5.5, and it's plus money, 5 to 4 with Bet365. It was a little bit smaller when I looked elsewhere, so shop around to get your plus money price. But I think it's a great starting price. They've hit 6 in the first 20 minutes last week against Newcastle. You'd have been cashed out after 20 minutes. And then we climbed, don't we? So 7 or more is 9 to 4, which I think is a great jump. For 1 more corner, going from 5 to 4 up to 9 to 4. I absolutely love the 9 to 4 for Fulham to get 7 corners. I think that's the best pick out there, really. 8 or more is 4 to 1. 9 or more, 7 to 1. 10 or more, 11 to 1. 11 or more, 16 to 1. And we'll peak it out at the top of the ladder. 12 or more Fulham corners at 22 to 1. So the main pick for me is the Fulham corners total, team corners over 5.5 at 5 to 4. And then I ladder it all the way up to over 11.5 at 22 to 1. And I'll be taking everything in between. But if people want to get involved and they don't want a massive outlay on it, just go up 2 steps at a time. Just take a few little chunks out of it. Don't have to go wild. But it's always nice once you've hit your first one in and you start cashing on every corner. So that's where I've gone here, Fulham corners.
I just pulled up a list of Premier League pitch sizes, Baz, for some interesting chat. However, it was from last season, so it had Leeds and Southampton and people like that on it. In fact, if it's had Southampton on it, it's probably from a few years ago. Fulham weren't on there anyway, so that stymied that. West Ham been in decent form, and as we all know, I'm fading them, and it's not working. 1 defeat in 7 games, and I do keep getting them wrong. The last 3 home games all ended in draws. Fulham lost 2 in a row. Last week was weird. It was a really weird game. I don't know what to make of that at all against Newcastle. All of Fulham's form is at home. 1-9 at home. Only 2 away wins. But they have got 5 draws. Like I say, West Ham have drawn their last 3 home games. West Ham are putting in a shift tonight in Germany. Couldn't split them, Baz. I think the draw's a perfectly fine bet. Not the second 1-1 draw of the week, because it could be a 2-2 this one. But I think the draw 13 to 5 plus 260 will be my pick here. Next up is the penultimate game on the card. It is 4:30 on Sunday, which is 11:30 Eastern Time. Arsenal taking on Aston Villa. Arsenal are 7-25, minus 357. The draw is 19-4, plus 475. Aston Villa are out at 9-1. Aston Villa in action tonight in the Conference League quarter-final. Currently 2-1 up. It's home to Lille. Villa did lead 2-0. Lille have got one back in that one. And Villa at 9-1 struck me immediately. Like I just said earlier on about who did I mention? Luton. No, it wasn't. That was Palace, sorry. You find a big price team and you try to find an angle in. And Villa are a good side. So Villa, I think, at 9-1 are a much better bet than Palace at 11-1. There's certainly not that much between those two. Arsenal are in great form domestically anyway. Pushed hard by Bayern on Tuesday. I watched the City Madrid game mainly and flicked on Arsenal Munich. So it's hard to know really what to do with that one. They've won 12-15 at home. The last two home wins, Luton and Brentford, 2-0 and 2-1. So not smashing teams, just managing teams. I can't pull the trigger on Villa, Baz. They're a huge price, but only got one win in 5 and won 7-16 on the road. They got humped 4-1 at City a couple of weeks ago, which is kind of a comp game. But we did see that Villa phoned it in that night. They didn't put out their strongest team. They didn't risk Ollie Watkins. Watkins will be back. He makes a difference. But they couldn't win at West Ham before that, a 1-1 draw. It's a big enough price to keep it close, though, Baz. And again, Arsenal have that sandwich spot between the two legs of the Champions League. So Villa on the handicap, plus 1.5 goals. It's even money, Baz. Arsenal might just get it done. It's going to be tense. They might nick it 2-1. But Villa plus 1.5 is evens, or if you're stateside, a price of plus 102, Baz.
Well, I'm glad you've gone there because I'm thinking I'm becoming at risk of getting accused by Arsenal fans of having some sort of bias against Arsenal because if I feel like I'm trying to fade them every week. I did think Brighton might cause them trouble last week, and I faded them there. I was wrong, but I like Bayern midweek and got that one right. And the first thing I'm drawn to when I open this up is Villa at 9-1. Looks massive, and it's not anything anti-Arsenal or anything like that. I know they're good. I know they're playing very well. We've got every chance of winning this title. But I've been saying for weeks, I feel there's more twists and turns in this title race than some people are expecting. Liverpool slipped up last week, and I still think both Arsenal and City might have a slip up in them yet this season. And if Arsenal are going to slip up anywhere, this is probably one of the few games in that run in you'd look at and say could be a banana skin. And if they do slip up somewhere, you're going to get a good price about someone at some time. Villa are good enough to cause an upset. They've only lost. I mean, it's one of them where you can spin the stats any way you want because you've pulled out a stat that says Villa can't win. They only lost 2 of the last 14. So I'm looking at it and saying they don't lose many. Away from home, that is, they've lost 2 of the last 14 games. City did beat them comfortably, though, which is obviously a concern because Arsenal are in very similar form at the same point in the table. Arsenal have also won 10 of their last 11 games. Only Man City have taken a point from them recently. So plenty of reasons there why you can't fade Arsenal. But I think you can. And like you, went exactly the same way because you can go with a Villa handicap and you can still cash a winner if Arsenal win. Arsenal at home. West Ham have went there and won. Wolves and Brentford went there and kept them to a single goal victory. So the safe pick for me, exactly the same as you. It's the safer option is Villa plus 1.5 on the handicap at evens. But I'll definitely be having a bit of Villa at a 9-1 as well. It's too big a price, I think, for a competitive team in a competitive game. Villa are worth a go at 9-1 for me.
Freeze Villa, Baz. That's what's going on Sunday. Villa,
exactly. Get them on Sky Bet. Freeze them,
freeze them up. Final game on this weekend is Monday night. What a shambles of a game this is. 8 o'clock kick-off, 3 p.m. Eastern Time between Chelsea and Everton. Chelsea 4-6, minus 150. Draw 3-1, Everton 4-1. I'm pleased you have to go first here, Baz.
That's a short one for me. I've been seeing for weeks you can't take Chelsea at the prices, but at 4-6, I thought home to Everton, I was slightly more tempted, and then I remembered it couldn't beat Sheffield United last week. It's Chelsea, and therefore it's goals markets every week, isn't it? 7 in a row,
Yeah.
both to score. 7 in a row over 3.5. 7 in a row conceding 2 goals. 7 in a row scoring 2 goals. It's absolutely crazy, Chelsea, at the moment. So I think you've got to stick in those sort of circles, looking at the goals market. The only problem with it is you've got Everton who don't score many. Literally everyone puts 2 goals up against Chelsea at the moment. Even championship sides in Leicester and Leeds have done so in the Cup. But I struggle to get as far as taking Everton to score 2 or more. But they'll surely get 1 and possibly lose. But it therefore means the both teams to score and over 2.5, doubled up at 10-11. Looks an all right price for me. So I haven't been as ambitious as to keep taking the 2 goals conceded for Chelsea or the over 3.5. I'd be interested to know what the price is for both teams to score twice, which has happened in every game recently. But yeah, the pick for me, Chelsea Everton, is over 2.5 goals and both teams to score, yes, at 10-11.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else scoring 2 against Chelsea is the equivalent of Everton scoring 1 against Chelsea. I mean, they had no business scoring that 1 goal they did last week. Chelsea were unbeaten in 7, but has won 3, drawn 4. 4-7, 4-5, 4 total goals. Everton are minging and loads of unders. And I do keep saying they're going to pop up with that 1 win that'll keep them up, but I can't take them here. I think it was maybe having eyes on them myself at St James's Park last week. They're absolutely horrible to watch. So I quite like your bet, Baz. Now you've mentioned it. Mine's a bigger price, so I'll stick with it. Chelsea team total over 2.5 is 7-4 plus 175. Everton did look like conceding plenty against Newcastle. We just couldn't get the second to kick on. Chelsea will win this 3-1 is the outcome. And I think that was pretty much what you were dancing around when you were you said that they'll probably lose, but probably will score a goal. 12-1 is Chelsea 3, Everton 1. But Chelsea team total over 2.5 is 7-4 bars plus 175. A bit of a bigger price. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is all 10 games in the book. Barry, exotic stuff. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to?
I'm happy to go first. I'll kick off with my scorer. I'm going to go Phil Foden again, 13-10 for an anytime goal, 11-2 first goal. I tried it last week and he didn't start, so it was a non-runner for me last week. Hopefully he'll start this week, and if so, he will score at 13-10. My underdogs definitely Aston Villa at 9-1 to beat Arsenal. And my accumulator, I've scouted around and I've gone for an over 2.5 acca. And you've got to stick 4 teams in to get anywhere near a decent price these days. These over 2.5 prices are absolutely ludicrous. Like, never known. Like this time last year, you would get close to even money for over 2.5 in almost every game, apart from Man City. Now you're looking at 1-2s and 2-5s everywhere. But the accumulator, over 2.5 goals in the Liverpool v Palace game, West Ham v Fulham, Arsenal v Aston Villa, Newcastle v Tottenham. So we're kicking it off with Newcastle v Tottenham as the first game of the week. Never bet the early kickoff this year. I'm not listening.
Yeah. And
then the other 3 are all the Sunday games. So we'll kick it off nice and early on a Saturday, and then we'll wait and see it out on the Sunday. So once again, over 2.5 acca, Liverpool Palace, West Ham Fulham, Arsenal Villa, Newcastle Tottenham comes in around 4-1.
Okay. My place, Barry, underdog Man United. Come on. 17-10 plus 170. Underdogs against Bournemouth. What is it? The year 2087 or what? 17-10 Man United. Let's hope they get beat as well. Anytime goal scorer, I'll take Cole Palmer. Against Everton, I've just said they're going to score at least 3 goals, and if they score 3, he normally gets 1 of them. Free kicks, corners, as well as decent from open play. And for my acca, Baz, really straightforward. It's a double. It's an 11-1 double, Baz. And it's the 2 draws I put up. It's Forest and Wolves, and it's West Ham v Fulham. Both of those games to draw pays out at 11-1. Now, it is, Barry, the Grand National on Saturday. All of our British listeners and viewers will be fully aware of that madness. Our American viewers might not be. What the race about 4 o'clock on Saturday, which is 11 a.m. Eastern time, so it's decent. So if you are in the States, you should be able to find it somewhere. Horse racing. It is a 4.5 mile steeplechase over giant fences. It'll take about 13 minutes to run. My mate said it was his first ever 2-cigarette horse race when he watched it for the first time. So everyone, the nation stops, Baz. It's like the Kentucky Derby. I got in touch with the Lord, so I haven't made any picks myself because I'm just going to pick what he gave us. So I got in touch with the Lord. Before we get into that, I'll give you a couple of picks that Pete, who's in the chat, gave us for tomorrow at Aintree, for Friday's racing. If anyone's live, want to knock these down. 145 tomorrow, Iroko. The 220 is making headway for a place at 2-1. And in the 405, we've got Fantastic Lady as an each-way play. As far as the Lord's concerned, Baz, I might as well read this word for word, yeah? I haven't looked at the prices, actually. First sentence fills you with confidence, Barry. Marla Mission wins the National, is what it says. 5 words. Marla Mission is, I'm scrolling down, 16-1. Holy shit, get in. Marla Mission wins the National. If Corrick Rambler comes with a burst, he may frighten Marla into submission, but I'm going for Marla to win in a reverse forecast with Corrick Rambler as a saver. A clear round, Marla carries this lot. So there you go. Marla Mission at 16-1. And Newman wants the reverse forecast with the favourite, Corrick Rambler, which is 13-2, plus 650. So that'll give you 50, 60-1 forecast, something like that. Marla Mission to turn over Corrick Rambler from the mouth of the Lord, who was in great form at Cheltenham a few weeks ago, Baz. That is going to be my pick and his pick, our pick. What you got?
My pick. It's unbelievable because I haven't spoken to you or the Lord.
No, you haven't. Shit.
Yes,
Right.
I've got Marla Mission as a pick, and I've wrote down. I really like Corrick Rambler. I backed it last year, so I've got to back it again. But it's not very ambitious, chucking the favourite out as your tip. So I went for Marla Mission, but I did have written down. I really do like Corrick Rambler as well. So unbelievably, having not spoken to you about it or anybody else, I have the same selections. It's a little bit boring, I suppose, but also a little bit exciting.
Boring. Not when it wins, Baz.
Yeah, exactly. 16-1. I've got Marla Mission, and Corrick Rambler currently at 11-2.
There's not any sort of fun name game ones either. Like if there was a horse called Corner's Ladder or something like that. But there's a one down the bottom called El Dorado Allen. But the Allen's ALLEN, which is the same way Bob's middle name spelt. So that's about the nearest I get to 100-1 name game pick. That'll be what the IT department picks, Baz. But that's about it. I think we're done, Baz. A solid hour and 5 minutes because we had lots to cover this week. Is there anything you want to tell the people before we let them go?
Can I just get your opinion on those Arsenal penalties? You alluded it to yourself. I done a quick TikTok poll last night when I was on TikTok Live. For clarity, there was no Arsenal fans in my TikTok Live last night. And 100% of people said Saka should not have had a penalty. What do you think?
Well, of course, it wasn't a penalty. He kicked the goalie.
There's only one correct answer, not a penalty. And 100% of people said Gabriel handballed it and should have given away a penalty. What do you think about that one?
Right. The answer to this question is in 2 parts, Barry. Yes,
There's
he
only
did.
one answer. You can only answer it one way. Of course there is.
There's not. Yes, he did. However, as the referee, which we talked about last week, when Newcastle gave away that goal to West Ham and Fabian Schär's lying on the floor, and you think the easiest thing to do to not cause yourself any bother is to not restart the game. The easiest thing for the ref to do in a Champions League quarter-final is just don't give a penalty. Just pretend you are, even if you have seen it.
In that situation, you'd be saying in that Newcastle game, the referee could have pulled it back then. Because, I didn't mean that. There was a mistake. It was a mix-up. I shouldn't have let him go. Let's just pull it back and cancel it. That's bollocks. Don't do it. Malcolm, it's the sort of stuff that would happen on under-10s football on a Sunday. A 9-year-old kid picks the ball up by mistake and the ref would say, let's cut him some slack. You can't cut people slack in them situations. There's too much at stake. Because David Raya knew it was a goal kick. He had the ball in front of him for 30 seconds waiting to take it. And the whistle goes, and Gabriel's made a mistake. It's no different to, let's look at, for example, Disasi the other week for Chelsea, who made that ridiculous back pass and put it in his own net. Like, let's just say, oh, he didn't mean it. It was a mix-up. It was a silly mistake. Bring it back. You can take that, try that again. Like, it's a mistake and it's ridiculous. And I get that a penalty is a massive punishment for a stupid mistake. But mistakes happen all the time in football. You can't cut anyone any slack. The rules are, if you handle the ball when the player's live, then it's a penalty. You can't get around it.
Right, just to play devil's advocate, Baz, we had a very similar thing earlier in the season, and you argued the complete other side in a black and white rules thing, which was you want them to carry on playing over the time if the ball's near the goal. When the time's up, Baz, the time's up. But not for you. If the ball's near the goal, you want them to crack on. So
that wasn't me at all. I said when the ball had went out for a corner, that was the difference. So the ball's out to play.
Carry on?
Yeah, because the ball's out to play. So that's what stoppage time is.
That's not a matter of opinion. That's a matter of fact.
That's not a comparison at all. It's ridiculous. If you think that shouldn't have been a penalty,
you're in the black and white. You either play
we'll
completely
argue about this after the show, Malcolm, but you're in the minority.
No, we won't, Baz, because you're wrong. There's only two. You either deal in facts or you allow a little bit of nuance.
It's a fact.
You can choose one, Baz, but you can't have the nuance.
So you want nuance. You want to make it up.
Which one do you want?
So you want to make it up as you go along? Is that what you want? You think football shouldn't be factual?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's a bit nuanced. But even if I'm wrong, Barry, I'm not as wrong as you because you want both. You want it to whatever suits you. Don't you? You do.
You're not comparing the same thing. Atlanta have just gone 3-0 up against Liverpool. Just to change the subject, Leverkusen went 1-0 up against West Ham, and Liverpool are getting battered.
Let's not go to bed on an argument. Let's go to bed celebrating Liverpool getting stuffed and being down to one trophy. Hopefully Palace can turn them over at the weekend, and they've completely fucked it. Right, thanks everyone for joining us in the chat. The Bacchus family, thanks a lot. Pete, appreciate it. Pete's Picks, go and have a gander at Pete's Picks on Twitter. James is in Toronto. I knew that. That's what I said first. Second guess myself. Harry, stupid Chelsea fan. Callum was first in. We'll be back, I reckon, on Sunday night, Baz, because I'm not going out. There shouldn't be any hangovers. There shouldn't be any family trips away, so we can get back to normal.
It did sound very much, Malcolm, like you just called Harry stupid.
No,
just to clarify, what you meant is Harry supports stupid Chelsea, not Harry the stupid Chelsea fan. Just to clarify.
Stupid Chelsea fan. Yeah, there's a comma. There would be a comma in there that written down would clear that up, Barry. But yeah, you're not stupid, Harry. You might be stupid. I've never met you. Anyway, not important. Good luck with your picks on the football, the national, the Masters. What else is on? Absolutely anything you like. Anyway, we'll be back with pockets full on Sunday night to tackle the next week of action. Until then, we will see you down the road. Cheers.